So let us dive into the individual particular pipeline script and understand the various key steps and key syntax that you need to be aware in order to create a pipeline. As as we have already created a demo pipeline, so I'll go ahead and configure this pipeline, and have selected a basic Maven project syntax or pipeline template. So if you look at it, if I just minimize everything, so at the top node you have a pipeline which basically indicates that this is a pipeline script, and then you define the agent you want to run the pipeline to run on. Right now it says any. We'll understand more about agents in further sections. We are also defining what are the tools that this particular pipeline needs, something like a prerequisite, or the tools the pipeline will need to set up before running the pipeline, and then we define the stages. So stages will have multiple stage. A stage will have a name, and as I said in previous sections, you will define the steps for in each stage, and each stage can have multiple tasks. So this is a task to get the latest code from Git, and this is the task shell script code to build the code after downloading the previous step. And then you define, if you want to, we can define a post task, which is still part of your stage. In each stage you will define the steps, and each stage will have a post section where you can decide what you want to do after all the tasks, or all the steps are complete in a stage. What do you want to do? Example, this could include in this case, we are archiving the output jar file into the pipeline. Maybe you want to send out a build notification and Teams notification for this, and in order to create a new stage, we copy the same stage, and then we go ahead, and now what we can do, imagine a scenario where, let's say, this is a build, and you have a deployment step, deployment to dev. Right now you will have deployment to dev, deployment to QA, and let's imagine you have some steps particularly to deploy. Now each deploy will have similar steps, but your input variables or input values may change. Your name of your service may change, or your configuration files for each environment will change. So in Groovy, just like your programming language, you can go ahead and define a common method, and invoke the method just like your programming language, and define a reusable class or reusable method or function, and use them in each of the step to avoid kind of copying the same code in multiple stage and making it tough to manage. So we'll look into how to define a function, how to define uh, uh, a bit more complex pipeline in a practical section. But what you need to understand is a pipeline will have agents. Pipeline will run on an agent. You can define the prerequisite tools that you want to set up. You define the stages, and again you can even define each stage to run in different agents. We'll look into that, and then each stage will have multiple steps, and you can have a post steps, which is similar to a job. You have a build steps and you have a post build job, and similar to here, in every stage you can have them. You can define reusable functions for each stage and reuse them to reduce the pipeline complexity of your pipeline script and make it easy to manage.